YouTube friends all the way around the world and back again. As I said to you in the last Christmas video, I was coming back to make my ragged swag wreath. Now I've got some beautiful material that I have in my stash. I do believe I got this from Hobbycraft, and this set was what's it? I'll think of the name in a minute. A fat quarter. So I've got some nice, really pretty, Christmassy material, and then I bought this one because I liked it. So what I'm going to do is, so I've got 6 different styles, designs, and I'm having them at 1 inch wide, so from left to right 1 inch, and I'm actually going to do this into 3 because this is at the moment 18 inches, I do believe. My maths is right. Yeah, 18 inches. So I want to cut those into 3 so that I've got enough to tie them with. So I'm going to find, I've got some lovely thick rope somewhere, but I cannot find it for love nor money. So this video is going to have to go in different parts as I record it until I can find or remember what I've done with the rope that I'm going to tie these onto. And if I can't find that, then I've got some twine I can do it onto. So the lengths are, because the fat quarter's 18 by 18, I do believe. I've taken the salvage edge off. I've lined, just get those out of the way. I've just lined across the top, cut a tiny little bit, and then I'm just going to, because this is a rag, I'm just going to pull each one where I've cut, so there's a little bit off the camera there. Let me just get you in frame. Hold on, minuetto. There you go. So I've just slipped across the top at 1 inch, and then I'm just going to rip that down on all of the pieces, and this is going to be a really lovely long. Probably won't need all of these pieces, but I'm going to. Yeah, I am going to do it all. A really long swag, so that I can use it then anywhere I want. And the idea is that hopefully, well, I think the pattern does go in the same direction as the grain of the fabric. And when you tear down the grain of the fabric, it's so much easier and simple. So we're just going to tear this. Just seems a bit of a bonkers thing to do to a beautiful piece. I could have made a cushion or something out of it, but hey, you know, I want to make a really long swag. So I'm just going to collect all my pieces up, and I'm going to do this with the same with this, with every piece of material that I have. And then chat among yourselves, and then I'm going to get rid of all the cotton, and then I'm going to just put all the ends together at the top and then divide them into 3 and cut them up. Okay, which is quite simple. I'm not a mathematical, I'll be honest, my brain doesn't do numbers very easily. Let me just get that in the frame again. So for me, the simplest, I know it sounds a crazy thing, but I'm not good with numbers, I'm not good with straight lines. So as long as I know my weaknesses, I can work with them. Okay. So, and now I want these at 6 inches each set. Let me just get it this way around, actually. I was going to use my rotary cutter, but actually I think it's probably going to be just simple to We could just cut 6. There we go. Fold that into 3, thereabouts, and cut away. It doesn't matter if they're not quite where they need to be, that'll do. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then when I've got a whole stack of these in all the different colourways, I'll come back and show you what I've done with them. So as a continuation from the last bit of video, because it's another day now, I just thought I'd come on and explain what I've done and how I've done it to you. So we've cut all the bits of material that I wanted on my rag swag. I even also cut some net curtain up, vintage lace net curtain, and that adds into it as well. I also cut some same length of these beautiful organza ribbon, and they're the same length as that's probably about 6 inches. So I cut a whole heap of that from these beautiful colours, red, the dark green. I'm going to sneeze, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. So the dark green, the red, and the lime green. So we've got those there. Now the rope that I wanted to put this on, now you could use anything, okay, so here's the little idea. We've got some 3 metre hemp rope, which was, as you can see, £1 from Hobbycraft. Obviously if you're not in the UK then you, oh no, that wasn't from Hobbycraft, that was from the Works in the UK, and that's really nice and I'd say fairly thick, to be honest, so if you're into your hemp then you could use that. I also got a 2 metre, again from the Works, a red and white, and this is almost like felty, woolly, but that's only 2 metres. And I thought, you know, I didn't know which one to use, so I'd got 2 of these in my stash, so I thought I'd use that. And what I'm going to show you now, I've already done one, but I'm going to show you how I did and what I learned along the way. So this is the end result, and I honestly absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And what I did with the end was I just turned it over to make a loop so that I can hang it on the wall or wherever I choose. And this has turned out absolutely lovely. Now, there are some things that you have to remember when making one of these. Some of the things I've learnt along, and it's packed. There's no gaps in it whatsoever. You couldn't move it along the rope at all because it is really full and it's so beautiful. And I think the ribbons give it a little extra something. Now obviously I can't show you the whole thing because my camera wouldn't pick it up, and I haven't hung it on the wall yet. So, but what I thought I would explain here is how not to do it really. So I'm going to show you in the how not to do it bit. When you're taking your, let's start there because I'm going to do a second one anyway. And it does take quite a bit of time, so if you're in a rush, don't begin this project. So you just want to leave a little bit, let's just go there, a little bit at the end so that you can hook it like that. And the first thing I do with that is I tie a nice piece tightly of ribbon around, she says. Easier said than done. It always works when you're off camera, doesn't it? Anyway, we'll have another go. We just tie a thingy in it and then I'll push the loop into that. I mean, I suppose you could glue that if you wanted to. Why does it never work when you're doing it live? What's that about? Anyway, we are going to, you can do this any way you want. You could glue it if you wanted to. My preferred choice is just to have a nice little loop there if I can get this to work. Oh, for goodness sake. As I said, It happened so easily yesterday. There we go. So I just tie that real super tight and get myself a nice little strong loop. What that also does, even though the ends are sealed, it stops the rope from coming undone. Now the other thing that you'll note, when you start tying your pieces on, and if you've done a rag you'll understand this, if you've done anything raggy before you'll understand this. I don't double tie mine, I just one tie it, just one ton tie. So you just tie, I don't even tie it that tight actually, because if I want to move it up the rope then I can. But what you'll find is when you tie, obviously, your ends seem to go in the same direction. So here's how you get past that. So that all your rag doesn't end up poking the same way, if that makes sense. So instead of tying them all in the same place, and I say that in the same place as in your knot is in the same place, you're going to need to twist it. Twist your knot so you've then almost like got a star shape going on. Don't worry about whether the wrong or the right side shows. It's just that I learnt this yesterday when I was doing my big one, thinking all the ones, they're all going to be the same. And when I got down to about here, they were all sticking out the same way and it didn't ruffle. So to get the ruffle, you just twist it a little bit on its side so that not every one is tied at the same, it's tied at the same point, but it doesn't then, and you just push it down. So again, you could, all your tags will come in a straight line if you continue to do that. But if you put a little bit of a twist on it and then tighten it, then you'll start to make this pinwheel effect that then makes your rag thicker and bunch up like this one. Okay, so the reason that's all in different directions, that's what, but the reason that looks so thick, is because it's not going all in the same direction. I've moved it around as I've tied it, and I think that makes that whole thickness and ruffleness come together better. So you're going to continue to do this, and this is a definitely in front of the telly kind of job to do, because it's tedious, but it is actually mindfulness. It's a great mindful, just whoops, got all my cotton everywhere. A mindfulness exercise, because you can just get lost in the process, and I tell you, it takes forever. So if you're not a patient person, perhaps this isn't the project for you. However, I just got lost in doing it last night, and I didn't think about how long it was taking me. I just kept adding and pulling down to as far as it will go, pieces. And in between the pieces, I haven't done it on this one. I need to put one in there. I will put maybe a piece of green ribbon in the middle. So between some of the thing, and I don't necessarily do that in the same order either, because I don't want it synergistic. I don't want it all exact. I want it to be different in the middle with the ribbon. And the ribbon just ends up tailing off, which is great. And again, not always put in the last bit, the lace bit, in the right place either. So I don't want all those in the right place. And again, I just cut. You can just go and get, please don't take your nana's curtains, beautiful lace curtains down off her window, or even your mama's, because they would not be very happy people. But go to the your local charity shop. You can always pick curtains up pretty cheap. And I might put, if I can find what I've done with it, I've got to cut some more ribbon now, because I've probably used that one. So basically that's it, okay? So you're going to keep on going until this looks like that. It's just crazily lovely. It just came together, and I thought, do you know what? I so love it. I so love it. And the good thing is, here's some good pointers about this. You could join these two together, or you could leave them single. Some ideas of how to use it. You could place it along your mantelpiece. I don't know what you call those in different countries, the bit that goes around the fireplace anyway. You could place it across your dining room table, and because it's super flexible, you could have a tall candle between each curve. You could place it around your tree. You could hang it from the wall. You could wrap it around the banister rail or stair rail, whatever you call that in different countries. You could, decorate whatever you want with it, really. But the other lovely thing I like is that you'll have this forever. It's never going to rot. It's never going to eat and drink nothing when it's in the box. You could actually put it in a fragrance box. When I say a fragrance box, if you was to place this in a box or in a, more so a box. The reason I'm hesitating to finish that sentence is because I was going to say you can add essential oils to it. But if you put it in a plastic Ziploc bag, raw essential oils will melt the bag. Okay, so if you're going to fragrance it up, which you can, you could actually put it in a bag, and I did this with a bag of spices, just dried spices, and the fabric will take on those fragrances. You dust it down, and then you've got a fragranced, spiced smelling, beautiful smelling piece of garland. And I did that with my pine cones. So every year I get my pine cones out. If I need fresh ones, I go and get them. They've gone to seed, I replant them. But if I go and get my pine cones out, I've put them all in mixed spices, blend, just scattered all of the dried fragrances of cinnamon and nutmeg, and it's just the box smells amazing. As do, when I take out, as do the pine cones that I then hang on the tree. And again, you could hang pine cones in between these by putting a little pony bead, gluing a pony bead on the top of the pine cone at the bottom end, and then hanging that on here. You could tie that on with a little bit of loop, so you've got pine cones in between as well. And that's a great thing to do with the kids, is to go out and collect some pine cones. Go out and have a foraging day. You could hang cinnamon sticks from here. It is quite weighty when you're finished, so you're going to need a pretty good way of hanging it up. But again, you could hang this around your window. You could wrap lights around it. In actual fact, you don't need to use rope. You could actually use fairy lights. And then swag up your fairy lights. For me, that's not a logical thing to do, simply because if your fairy lights go boom or bang or pop, you're going to be stuck with a ragged fairy light that doesn't actually work anymore. So I think putting the fairy lights around the swag, is a better way to go. So there you go, my friends. Another Christmas way of decorating, and this is an heirloom for people. You could hand these down to your grandchildren, you could give them as gifts, well, you could do whatever you want, can't you? The world's your oyster. So I hope you've enjoyed this short tutorial on another Christmas way of making personalised things for your home, or for your friends, or for your family, and they just look amazing. So until the next time, we will be at some point decorating the tree. Well, we've got to pick it first, because I say every year I pick my twigs, which are red dogwood, but I've got a bit of an issue where they were in the garden, because the gardeners actually chopped them down last year and they haven't grown back as well as I'd like. But I'm on a mission now to go and get some, and then when I start that process off, I will film it I've also got I've made some, as you could see from the beginning pictures of the video, I'd made some, I want to call them sourdough, but they're not, the dough clay, the salt dough ornaments. I made those and painted them, which is one of the pictures you could see at the beginning of the video. So until the next time, because there's quite a few projects now that as my build up to putting all my Christmas decorations up and out, it takes forever. It takes me at least 2 days to actually do the tree. So hopefully I'll be able to film it all so that you can come along and enjoy that journey. And it'll give you some inspiration maybe to do for your home or your friends or for your workplace, which will be different. Thanks very much for joining me. Namaste.